Subriel Matias versus Roberto Ramirez, 10 rounds in the 140-pound division. This one is taking place this Saturday in Puerto Rico. Let's get into it. Let's start with their respective records. Matias, 20 wins, 2 losses, 20 wins by way of knockout. Ramirez, 26 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. This is Matias's first fight back since his fight against Liam Paro, in which he lost that fight. I didn't even really know that Matias was fighting this weekend until I took a deep dive in some of the matchups this weekend. And I was just like, wait a minute, Matias is fighting? I haven't seen no promotion. I haven't seen no advertisement. I haven't seen no poster. I haven't seen nothing, which is wild because considering he was kind of everywhere when, Eddie Hearn was promoting him in his fight against Paro in his home country. But, that also goes to show the world of sports. 1 minute you can be on top of the mountain. The next minute you aren't really heard of for quite some time. So this is the situation that Subriel Matias is in right now. Someone who was once considered the boogeyman in the division has now found himself in an interesting position. He cannot afford another loss. Another loss doesn't take him out completely, especially when it comes to his boxing career. But when it comes to championship fights and those big fight opportunities, those will likely not be where his trajectory is if he does lose this fight. Now, Matias kind of met his match against Liam Paro, man. I think Matias was never really an excellent boxer, right? He had two or three things, I'm going to say 2 in this case, really going for him, right? He has an excellent chin. That man can take a shot. He is tough to stop, tough to slow down. He's got a great, excellent chin, and he's got a pressuring style that breaks down his opponents and tires out his opponents. And then that's when he imposes his physicality and the accumulation of punchers. I wouldn't consider him a one-shot knockout type of puncher. He's just an accumulation of a barrage and an onslaught of punches that breaks down his opponents. Against Liam Paro, he just got outboxed. He got outclassed. And you want to take it a step further, maybe his corner outcoached Matias's corner as well too. And I say that because, Matias didn't adjust at all. He didn't change the game plan one bit, which is tough because when you're used to doing things a certain way, it's hard to do something different, especially if you haven't trained and implemented it in that way in training camp. Now, I like Matias. I like him a lot. But personally, man, I think his ego kind of got to him in the fight against Liam Paro. I think he slightly overlooked Paro, and Paro came prepared and ready for the moment and seized the opportunity and boxed his way to a victory and took away Matias's belt. And now he's in position for a big money fight. The best way to beat Matias is to don't engage with that man. Make it a very boring fight. Not boring in the sense of the fans aren't going to get involved, but boring for him, right? Boring for him where you are going to have to do more than just be physical and just come forward in order to beat me. And Paro did a great job of that, using his jab and countering him when he was coming in and fighting back when he needed to, but also use his footwork to get out of range. So it is not heavy what's coming back at him. It was just an excellent game plan and an excellent execution that Liam Paro showed inside of the ring. He did not get stuck on the ropes and came and made the fight in the center of the ring. It was a really good fight. It was a really good fight, and the better man won on the night. And again, Matias just didn't adjust. He's used to guys being right there in front of him, and that's what he likes, where he doesn't have to cut off the ring. He doesn't have to do any of that. He can just be physical, be strong, and be a brute force that he is, right? He's not coming to box. He's coming to march forward, take your best shots, and physically break you down with the pressure, with the barrage of punches. And that's, he takes his opponents out. And to this point, it has worked. Apart from his fight with Petros Ananian, where he bounced back and stopped him in the rematch. But this time, stylistically, it did not work out in his favor. Even though I did expect Matias to make adjustments, but I didn't, I don't know if fighting in Puerto Rico on the big stage did anything to kind of hamper him a little bit, but he did not look like the normal Matias that we're accustomed to seeing, at least for me. You might feel different, but I didn't see that same Matias that we've seen in previous times before. But got to give the credit to Liam Paro because he came in with an excellent game plan. He was prepared and he did what he needed to do, and he got the win. So it's going to be interesting to see what Matias looks like, man. I'm expecting a better version of him on the night, and he needs to put on a really good performance if he wants to put himself back into the mix and for people to talk about him again. Let's talk about his opponent, Roberto Ramirez. He's an experienced fighter, man. He knows a thing or two about fighting pressure fighters. He fought William Zepeda. Now, if you've seen William Zepeda fight, he doesn't get no more pressuring than that. William Zepeda is a come forward, straightforward type of guy. You are going to be pressured when you fight William Zepeda, just like how you're going to be pressured when you fight Subriel Matias. In the beginning, some of the judges were giving Ramirez those rounds. Now, it was kind of close. Ramirez is kind of long reach, kind of rangy. He was using his jab. He was coming over the top. He was trying to use his jab to create separation and use his feet a little bit. But, sometimes he kind of fell over his feet a little bit and it didn't really look smooth. And even though Ramirez was doing a good job creating that separation, you kind of just got the feeling that at some point, the pressure was going to get to him. Ramirez is not a good lateral mover like that. And when you're fighting Zepeda, he comes in from all angles. Like the pressure is coming from the left, coming from the right, coming right in front of you. He might spin you around. And, it was just a lot of fighting off of the back foot for Ramirez, and he was doing well early, but it got to him. In that fifth round, he got himself stuck on the ropes a couple of times in that round, and that's when he started to get lit up, man. He couldn't get himself away quick enough, and he got himself stuck on the ropes too many times, too consistently that round, and took too many shots, and they waved the towel, and it was over with. Ramirez fought back, but man, he was getting tired because he couldn't breathe. He couldn't catch his breath. Zepeda was right there on him, and he just couldn't do enough or had enough power at that to keep Zepeda honest and to keep him away from him. He also fought Abel Ramos a few years back in a fight where I don't know what the game plan was for him, but the game plan was just to stay right there in front of each other and just started swinging heavy shots, being physical, power punches, and it did not work for him in that fight either. Ramirez won that battle of strength, physicality, and power, and he got caught with the left hand that knocked out Ramirez's mouth guard clean out of the ring, like literally, like that mouth guard flew like it had wings. So it didn't work out for him that fight. Now, coming into this fight, he's on a 3-fight knockout streak, but this is also his first fight of this year. And this is not really an opponent that you want to come in if you haven't warmed up a little bit. Like, you don't want to have ring rust against a pressuring guy like a Subriel Matias. But the good thing is that Matias is coming off of a loss, so who knows mentally where he is going to be in this fight. So who wins? Before I give my pick on this fight, I have something real quick to share. I'm always looking to bring more light, more value, more opportunities for the community. I've been working on a few different things in recent weeks to not just grow the channel, but as I said, to continue to provide as much value as I can to each of you in our community. With that being said, I got some exciting news to share. I'm happy to announce my partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert. It's a great opportunity for you to join some of the best sports books to get the best odds and new user offer. All you have to do is head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/thebreakdown to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with its own unique offerings. So if you want to place a bet this weekend and on this fight and beyond, check out the link to find the best options for you in your region. Every sign up does support the channel, and it helps the channel grow and to expand and to create more opportunities, not just for me, but for our community. I'm always looking out for you guys as best as I can. You can easily find the link in the description below this videos moving forward. So get down there and check it out and find the best option for you. Now, let's get back to the video. This is a fight where Matias is supposed to shine. He's supposed to look good. And if he is still confident and he's still inspired to box, I like him by stoppage. Ramirez does not like that pressure, and history shows like he's going to be in the fight to a certain point. But if you continue pressuring him and continue hitting him and you don't get clipped by one of his shots and his reach, but you can close the gap and just touch him until he tires out, he's going down. Of his 3 losses, he's been stopped twice before, and they kind of been stopped in similar ways. I think Matias is going to add to that. I think the pressure is going to be too much. I think the accumulation of punches is going to wear him down. But if Matias is a shell of himself, I still don't think he loses. He's at home. You got to put that into the mix as well, too. But I do think it will be an ugly fight, and I think his stock is going to drop if he does not look convincing in his return after a loss in front of his home crowd. But obviously, we'll see how it unfolds. But I like Subriel Matias to win this fight by stoppage. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. How do you think this one goes? Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comment section below. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this time, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.